questions or you want to contribute your thoughts or whatever, just jump in. And I'm going to go through this stuff really quick because you all have all the resources and a lot of you have already sort of been through an introductory class. But I really started from the ground up again, like putting together the materials for this course this semester. And the first part of that is why learn Golang and what's good about Golang and how many people are using it and are there jobs out there and is it a good thing to learn? And so that's what this first presentation is about. I'm just going to fly through it. Why Golang? And so I'll let you just take that in for a second. Yeah, so some really brilliant, even maybe genius level people created Go, and they were very involved with some also super significant things in computer science, and so that really makes me take note, right? Like when people who know what the heck they're doing make something awesome. When some Italian guy creates a programming language and bases it upon a Monty Python movie, and then breaks backward compatibility from version 2 to 3, and then nobody wants to migrate to the new version because all their legacy code is in 2, that makes me suspect of that language, But I'm talking about Python, right? But so anyhow, so these are the reasons you want to use Go. It's performant. It really takes advantage of multiple cores, and so a lot of programming languages, that's more difficult. It runs concurrency super easily. It's totally baked in. It's compiled, and it's built for a networked environment, right? So you could write code that runs on many machines with many cores, distributed all around the world, and your code could take advantage of that. And it also has a really clean syntax, and it's also portable, so it compiles on many OSs. So compiled versus interpreted, right? Compiled is going to be quicker, but the compiling happens really fast, and for it to happen fast, there's certain things which you just can't do in Go, which you might be able to do in Java or other object-oriented languages. And the reason you can't do them is just so it can compile quick. So other reasons to use Go, it's backed by Google, right? There's this great article, 90% perfect 100% of the time. And this was given by a guy at a conference in Australia, I think. And he put together these charts, which I really like. So I'll just let you take that in for a second. So Ruby, Python, Perl, JavaScript, hey, those are fast and fun for humans, but they aren't so fast and efficient for computers. C, C++, those are great and fast and efficient for computers, but not so fast and fun for humans. And Go is really sort of a happy middle land. And I think that that's kind of nice that, it's where Java is in relation to that, because that's kind of my perception of this whole landscape too. Obviously, this is subjective, And then also here, so when dealing with concurrency, Java, C, C++, super efficient, but really difficult, right, to write. And JavaScript, Python, Perl, Ruby, not efficient for concurrency. And that kind of ranks on the not beautiful straight code when you're doing concurrency. And so Go kind of, again, is the best of both worlds. So are you sold? Companies using Go, come on in. Yeah, please. No, it's fine. And Google uses Go. Obviously, they created it. YouTube, part of Google, uses Go. Apple, surprisingly, when I was doing the research, I'm like, oh, sweet, Apple's doing it. So here's the job announcement that came out from Apple looking for senior CD and DevOps software engineer at Apple using Golang. And Dropbox uses it. Here's their article where they talked about how they're using it, and they're going to open source all their code just to try to grow the Golang community. All these companies use it, so I'll give you a chance to take that in. And then this company, Docker, Flipboard, Firefox, The Economist, Getty Images, the New York Times, GovUK, so all of the England's government, Heroku, MongoDB, IBM, GE Software, Intel. What's this one? Twitter. What's this one? All right, just making sure you're awake. That's kind of what? Facebook? What? Right? But they have this thing Parse, which is done with Go, and of course Square, which is part of Twitter. or from the same people. Halo, which is like Uber but other places. Uber, Nokia, Yik Yak, Tumblr, Thumbtack, and Remind, which is, what is this? Like 1 in 5 teachers in the U.S. use Remind. Well, I'm part of the other 4. I don't know what Remind is. I was like, oh, I don't use Remind. I guess it's a K-12 thing. Medium, which is a cool place for articles, and the Maldive Islands, which I thought was kind of neat. I really like the Maldive president. There's this great documentary that he's in, and what's it called? I don't know. You can look it up. Maldive president documentary, but about rising oceans and everything. And then it's huge in China. Go's huge in China, so a lot of Chinese sites use Go. And Whim, Her, Spring, Clothing, just like a whole bunch of different sites are using Go. And so it's, when I started doing research and digging around, like who's using, and this is the company that our trainer works for, and they have like 40 Go programmers. When I started digging around, like who's using Go, it was like, wow, I don't know what this company does, but the flying cat image was interesting. Got my attention. These people, like a lot of document management, 2,900 journals and 190,000 books. Like Go is really good with document management and documents, and that's why a lot of people move from things that aren't Go to Go, because if they're having to process a lot of files, Go can do that in a really resource-efficient manner. Oyster, SimGrid, I don't know. Have you guys heard of some of these places? Farmville. And then there's this article, which I pointed out last year, Farewell Node.js, written by TJ Hollywake Chuck. I'm not sure I'm saying his name right. But he's one of the main contributors to Node.js. And he said, I've had enough of Node. And and so that was kind of like, that was last year, and I just saw the news. T.J. Holloway-Chuck, one of the Node's most important respectable contributors, is leaving Node.js for Go, and so you could read his article and read this one, and the reasons. I think the reasons are interesting there. The bullet points, you can check those out. And there's another prominent Node.js developer who left, Node for Go, and so. These are all the things you could use Go for. Web apps, which we're going to learn the language and look at doing that. But you could do scripts, system admin, image processing, load balancers, servers, crypto, hardware, and you could even do Android and iOS apps in Go. And so I don't know. I'm looking forward to like being able to know one language to write web apps and Android and iOS apps. Android and iOS apps is still very much cutting edge, and cutting edge, when you work with the cutting edge, you bleed, right? So the cutting edge is a little bit of the bleeding edge. So I haven't done any Android iOS stuff, but that, I'm still just trying to master the web app thing. But so the resources, everything I was quoting in there, sources and stuff like that. If you want to look up like where did I find all those companies, this is a lot of the place where I found that. So you could click all those links. So a little bit of review. Golang is awesome. Holy crap! A lot of great companies are already using Golang. And you should have already learned Golang a year ago, but at least you're starting now. Or you're more than a semester into it. And then there's just a little FYI here, which I threw in. And this is from Caleb's book, because I felt like it described the Go language really well. Go is a procedural, imperative, modular, object-oriented, statically typed, garbage-collected, compiled programming language with syntax broadly similar to the C family of languages and CSP-inspired concurrency features. We will examine each of those descriptions in greater detail, but before we do, let's write our first Go program. That's from his book. And Go is a procedural programming language because procedures, functions are stitched together to form a program. It's an imperative programming language because functions are built out of statements, which are generally phrased as imperative commands. Just kind of interesting, some of the lingo that gets thrown around with programming. And that's one of the things, for me, I'm a transplant to programming. And I studied economics, and then I got my MBA, and then somehow I ended up teaching this stuff over at City College, where I'm tenured faculty. And so because of that, I haven't had the benefit of the great opportunity, I don't know what else to say, the great opportunity of taking classes like this in computer science and studying it. And I really commend each and every one of you, all of you, for studying computer science, because I sort of left with a bullshit degree, right? And like I got my BS in literally economics, right? And then I just got more bullshit administration, right? MBA, And it's like, what's my technical skill? Like, what's my skill? You know, that people are like, I know how to do X, and somebody's like, I need somebody who knows how to do X, and I could be like, hey, I know how to do X, cool, and then they hire me, right? Like, they're just very general degrees, economics and business. So I commend you for getting a skill, and I think that will serve you really well. That I now know how to do something, right? You're going to leave with your degree in computer science, and you'll have a skill which people need people like you. And you know how to do it, and others don't. And so you'll be able to do something that others can't do. I think Drew is the guy's name, started Dropbox, but there's a little video on YouTube here. Have you guys heard of YouTube? And why learn to program? It's started by these guys, and you watch videos on it. There we go, right here. Is computer programming hard to learn? So I don't know. You guys can watch that on your own, but the guy who started Dropbox is in there, and he says, you know, knowing how to code is like having a superpower, right? Like you could do stuff that other people can't. How many people sort of had that moment, like, wow, I know, like you're in the mall or something, you're like, yeah, these people know how to code. Dude, I know how to code. They don't know how to code. Like anybody had that moment? It's like these people just don't know how to code. It's kind of like a superpower, but I like that description. It's computer programming hard to learn. So you could check that video out, or maybe at the end of class, because we don't have as much time this semester. Maybe if there is time, we can watch it.